explain to me, explain to the entire world why Ukrainian boxing is so good. It's like it's not even about the Klitchko brothers, right? Okay, maybe two brothers, right? Like 20 to 30 years ago, started their careers, one of the greatest of all times. But then you got others, right? You've got Lomachenko, which just ended his career, and you got, obviously, Usyk, right? You've got Gvozdyk. Why?
I don't know. I think it's the heritage of the Soviet Union.
But the Russians don't have that money. They don't have that many boxers.
And it's also, if you look at the generation, that there's a certain group of people that came out of Ukraine, and they all used to be in the same team, right? Usyk and Gvozdyk and Lomachenko, they're coming from the same team, the national team. So I think it's just a generational thing. I don't think, if you look at Cubans are pretty good boxers too.
Yes, and wrestlers too.
Yeah, and wrestlers as well. Yeah, there's a lot of talent here too. But not the same,
Would you say that, so in Cuba, they say the only choice for you to get rid of the poverty, right, is to go into sports and achieve something in sports. Would you say some kind of the same thing in Ukraine?
I no, I can't say that. I can say that just, I trained with people, Olympians and with very successful sportsmen, wrestlers especially. And I can't say that they did it to get famous or to get rich. I think they did it because of how much they loved the sport. And this is what makes a big difference, I think, too, in Ukrainian boxers and people up here. Here you're offered all the luxuries, physical therapies and, all kinds of strength conditioning coaches, and then technique coaches, and then, you go to this training facility, then you go to this training facility. But in Ukraine, you're giving what you're given, So it could be a little gym or a homemade gym, just like Lomachenko. His dad built a gym at like very small facilities somewhere next to their house, and there's so many people that went through that facility. So many good kids went through that facility. So I think if you're given more, you're gonna have a bigger hunger. And I think that's like with people from Ukraine, Russia, from coming to America and becoming successful in a short period of time. I think this is the mentality that we carry with us, of being hungry. We're always hungry for everything, for more.
Correct.
Get better, get more, get better, get more, get better. Just coming back to my story here. We came with nothing. My parents gave me $5,000 for the first semester, to pay for the first semester for school.
And that's it.
Because my scholarship was not like fully covered. I had it partially covered, and my living at the university was paid by the school. But I still had to pay $5,000 a semester, 5-6. So like I knew that in order for me to stay here, I need to roll up my sleeves and get going. And because as soon as I would achieve something, I would say I can do more, because that wasn't that hard, So I think living with very limited resources in Ukraine gives you an ability to achieve things here a lot more easier, because like you go through pain and through go to difficult situations a lot more easier, because the character that you build back home is different. And that's the accessibility here. Like you have everything here. If you can't do it on your own, your country will help you.
You mean sports-wise?
Even sports-wise, yeah. Even sports-wise.
If you show the results, yeah. I want to say a lot is covered.
Yeah, and it's changing too now. Everything is becoming all about money here. Like I take my kids to the sports schools now here, and gymnastics. The coaches are not as involved into a personal development of a child, and there are more gifted kids, but at the same time, if you work hard with the different kids, they'll catch up faster. But it's designed in a way you can advance pretty fast and go to the next level, right? Compete with or train with the older kids. So when I was back home wrestling, my dad would always push me and say, hey, you need to wrestle heavier guys, because that's how you learn, that's how you get strength.
Correct.
And over here, like I take my daughter and say, hey, can we take her to the next one so she can look at these older kids and try to catch up,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to develop that hunger in my kid as well, right? Where she doesn't like in a limp mode with these other kids, with the smaller kids, trying to learn, a flip for a year or a year and a half, because I can do it myself at home if I really want to. I can
Correct.
teach my kid to do a flip in a month. So I think it's all about money here now. We're like, okay, you have to pay for the whole year for your kid to be in this group. Then she becomes 7, she turns 7, she can advance to an older group. So it's not about the results, it's about
It's not the results based, not merit based, but just like a subscription.
it's a financial gain. I understand that they have to maintain the school and everything, but it's not always good for kids.
Explain to me this thing. So we've got this amazing boxer in Lithuania. His name is Imantas Stanionis, right? He just lost for the WBA world title, but he was undefeated. I want to say 16-0, right? But he's super humble. Every time I see Lomachenko and Usyk, they're super humble.
Yeah.
Klitchko were maybe not that humble as Lomachenko is. So would you say if Loma would live here, if he lived here, and he had this a little bit different mentality, do you think he would have achieved more?
No. It's all thanks to his dad, again, and the values that his dad has, the values that his dad engraved into his persona, his personality. If it wasn't for his dad, just like if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So if you look, I'm not sure if you researched a lot on him, but if you look at his story, it's a beautiful, like somebody has to make a movie about it, about his relationship with his dad. Because his the way his dad thought through everything, the way how he approached it, how he put him into dance school first before he started boxing to kind of give him strength on his feet, so he learns how to move, in the ring. And then he put him into wrestling. He wrestled as well, and then he took him to boxing. And then he started coaching him boxing on his own way. So if he was here, he could have been an average guy as well. But if it wasn't for his dad, and overall, I think Lomachenko, because I know people that know him and know his family, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not only a good boxer, he is an amazing human.
Correct.
That's the culture, again, that's the cultural influence and his parent influence. That's what really made him. Obviously he put in work, but his dad taught him how to work hard.
But I believe he's so underappreciated in the entire world.
Yeah, because
if people knew how good he really was, let's say 5 to 8 years ago, he was amazing.
Yeah, I think he's a pure role model for a lot, but this is the world we live in now, where Jake Paul gets a lot more light than Lomachenko. But again, it just shows you.
Jake Paul became more humble, I want to say, in the recent years.
I wouldn't say that. If you're humble enough, you don't talk crap, about.
That's how you sell.
And then you fight. But that's what I'm saying. Lomachenko sells with his technique. But it seems like people are not interested in techniques today, but they're more interested into who said what, who called who what, so it's unfortunate, and I hope it changes. But if I have a son, when he gets to the point where he understands what's up, I'll definitely show him Lomachenko and his story and put him as an example for my kid.
Would you say Jake Paul is a boxer?
Not really. If he's a boxer, he would fight boxers. He fights like.
Well, he fought Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really say that Tommy Fury is a pro too himself. If he fought somebody from the top dogs, it would be a different outcome.
Maybe he will. He's young. I'll say he's 28.
Well, he will never become a. He doesn't have what it takes.
Yeah, but he knows how to box.
I mean, he learned how to throw punches. That's yes, but he doesn't have a dog in him. When there's a dog fight, when you fight, and plus like technique as well. He doesn't have a technique. His feet, in my opinion, again, I'm not saying for everyone, But in my opinion, again, my dad is a boxer too. He fought. He used to be in pros in Soviet Union.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pro.
So why we learn, like, I know how to box. You know, I know how to throw the punch from early age because my dad taught me how to. And so, like, we always followed the UFC. The day it was started, you know, my dad would bring home HVC cassettes and we would watch the fights, you know. So we started watching fighting from the very early age. So I can tell the difference. Then we wrestled, you know. I can tell the difference when I see somebody fighting. You know, his feet are really. This is just not there. There's not a boxing feet. You know, he, as I said, he learned how to, like, look like a boxer when he works the pads. Yeah, anyone can do it. You know, but I don't think he has it in him, because if he really had, you know, a boxer in him, he would go for the Golden Glove. Why do you want to sell these stupid fights with washed out old men or people that are not pro? You know, I have nothing against, you know, Tommy Fury or anything like that, but I think, why don't you kind of, if you call yourself a boxer, you have to live a boxer's life, right? You start from, you know, local championships, and then you go to for the gold.
Yeah, but he started when he was 20
for the
something.
Golden Glove. It don't matter. And the only reason why he became something, because he was pretty big on social media. That's the only reason. And it seems like everything works this way now. If you're an actor, you know, if you're a YouTuber, influencers, you have a better chance than the person with a real talent. And I'll tell you that much. Like, if you go into a Mexican gym somewhere in the outskirts of LA,
They will whoop your
there's a
ass.
guy who'll wipe the floor with Jake Paul, you know. And I'm pretty sure there's in every gym there is a guy who will wipe the floor with Jake Paul. And again, this is just strictly my opinion, you know.
Do you think Usyk is underappreciated as well?
Yeah, and it all comes down to culture. The way we don't talk much, you know.
Well, at least he dances.
We show things that we do good. And I think this is the exact reason why they're not as, like, superstars, you know, because if you look at Conor McGregor, you know, the guy could fight. He could fight. Yeah, he could fight. He doesn't fight anymore. But when he had that hunger in him, but as soon as he got everything, he became a very different man, you know. But on the top of ability of fighting, he's also a really good. He has really strong charisma, you know. He's a character. He can talk, you know, and that's some people have it, some people don't.
Well, Usyk has his character as well, but he doesn't speak English that good.
But he comes off as a funny man, you know. He does, and that's something, again, he does. We don't offend people in a way to jack up the fight, you know. There's a level of respect, especially in boxing. There's many instances where people have died from the injuries that they received during the match. So you always have to have it in consideration that you go into the ring with the guy that, you know, you potentially may kill or you be killed, you know. So I think there should be a level of respect, and the sportsmanship is one of the most important ones as well, you know. And that's how we are raised back home, you know. Yeah, people over here, there's some pretty big sports people up here as well, but it became a part of the business. And I would just Usyk and Lomachenko and Usyk, they choose not to participate, and I have my respect to them for that.
Well, I'm a big fan of UFC. I want to say in UFC, let's say 50% of the fighters, they don't talk trash at all. They're very respectful. Even those who talk trash, after the fight, they hug each other.
Yeah,
That's what I like about the UFC.
yeah. But again, it seems like people don't buy fights to nowadays. In my opinion, people don't buy fights to see the sweet science of fighting, right? The technique and the heart and the will to win. People buy fights because they chose one side who talks shit, or maybe another side who doesn't talk shit, and they watch the fight just to see their guy win. Not enjoy the fight, but to see their guy win, and then so their ego's like, oh yeah, it's my guy won, my guy won.